The U.S. Asian population is diverse. Data from the Pew Research Center shows a record 23 million Asian Americans trace their roots to more than 20 countries in East and Southeast Asia and Indian subcontinent.
And of course, each group comes with unique histories, cultures, languages, and so much more. Research also shows that nearly half of all Asian Americans live in the West, with about a third right here in California. In fact, Asian Americans are projected to become the largest immigrant group in the country, surpassing Hispanics in 2055. So now that you know the latest numbers, let's get to a special report from ABC 10's lead race and culture reporter, Candice Redd. She's amplifying AAPI voices on the topics of race, culture, and community.
They assume we all speak the same language. They assume we all speak Chinese.
You're in the nursing field, or you're a bad driver.
Everybody automatically is Chinese, or everybody automatically is Japanese.
If you're looking Asian and if India is doing something wrong, then you are responsible.
I am Asian American, but I identify as a Vietnamese American. There are over 2,000 different Asian languages. I get asked the question, so if somebody says something in Chinese, will you understand them? I said, no, absolutely not. And they think everybody celebrates Chinese New Year. But we try to correct individuals when they say, Happy Chinese New Year, or, Gung Hei Fat Choi. And I have to correct them and say, no, I'm Vietnamese, so it's called Tết. And that is one of the most important holidays in the Vietnamese community.
I'm Filipino, but people call us Asian or Pacific Islander. No, I'm not in the nursing field. I'm in sales. They always ask, are you Hmong? Are you Vietnamese? It's best to just ask, what ethnicity are you? It's a sense of family that I value the most. I most remember when I was a child is really adopting the elders. We treated them as a family right away, like po or bless your forehead when you see them.
I'm Filipino American, and I have a little bit of Chinese blood in me. I think it's only natural that people want to be identified, right? People want to be counted, right? And so when you're not counted, when you're not identified, it's like, well, what are you? It's like we matter. I remember, especially growing up, like people didn't know where the Philippines was or what was the Philippines. The Philippines, I think, is one of those countries where there's a lot of poverty, yet there's a lot of happiness too. People, even though in spite of that poverty, they learn to enjoy each other and to enjoy the moments that they have, and that's something that I value.
I identify as an Asian Indian, East Indian for some. India sometimes gets into a fight with Pakistan. What has that got to do with me? I'm Indian, that's all. I think that's the case for everybody. Just because you are of African American descent or Chinese descent, it doesn't mean you're in touch with your country. Our community really believes education is the most important thing. Respect your elders. Help in any way you can, because there is a way to help in some way. And that, I think, is what our culture always seems to impart to us. Hate never got anybody anywhere. This time, it is specifically not Indians being targeted, but Asians. So it's just a matter of time to spill over.
I am one of those that has been a victim of some type of anti-Asian violence, anti-Asian hatred, and that I stayed quiet because that's what I was taught. Now I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to speak up. It absolutely matters. Our AAPI voices matter.
If API voices are together, it becomes much louder, much clearer.
We deserve to be treated fairly, and we need to be heard. Don't make assumptions about a person or a group of people. Get to know a person and their experiences.
It just takes time for people to learn. We are just like everybody, just in a different style.
All people, regardless of gender, regardless of origin, regardless of language, we have a right for human dignity and we have a right for freedom.
What a beautiful story. And since May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, you might want to consider learning more about the history, culture, and people of all diverse AAPI communities and groups. You can find more race and culture stories by using that QR code you see at the bottom right corner of your screen.